world. We are particularly interested in foreign markets such as India and China, which make up a third of the world's population. We welcomed new airlines, just now we are working on also, from both countries that added Istanbul to their flight routes for the first time. People from China, India, and many other countries use Istanbul airport for tourism, business, and transfer to another flight. As we try to increase the number of passengers, number of airlines that fly to Istanbul, we also wish to increase the passenger volume by attracting more people to our brand, Istanbul New Airport, and Istanbul also for the city as a whole. I would like to inform you that Istanbul Airport, a junction that binds together Asia, Europe, and Middle East, will be serving up to 200 million passengers a year once it has started functioning with full capacity. Our aim is to showcase our cultural values, local products, and brands on the global stage and offer our guests and also offer our passengers a comfortable travel experience by becoming the preferring airport, particularly for their flights. Dear guests, in the coming period, we will continue to produce value-adding content for our social and digital media channels and provide the right flow of information for our airport, taking into account the needs of our passengers and followers. As you can see in the screen, that's why, so please continue to follow us in our social media accounts. I wish to end my words by saying it's very important for us that you feel at home when you come here and Istanbul with pleasant feelings. For this reason, I strongly advise you to make time from your busy schedule of negotiations and meetings and explore this beautiful city that provided a sanctuary for various civilizations over the centuries. Once again, I welcome our foreign guests, especially for our foreign guests, with the warmest of feelings and greet you all with respect. Thank you.
I'm going to make all of you sick of Rage Against the Machines at the end of this thing. We get some new tracks, though, too, maybe, huh? Switch it up a little bit. Yes, for our next panel. It's a good one, guys. I'd love to bring to the stage first. Wait, what's the name of our panel? Let me get the sheet. Can I get a name, please? Name of this panel. Ah, yes. Creating unique content to inspire the world. Very important, because all of us need to create unique content, as you know, because no one wants the same old thing, like that same old music. Yes. And who will be speaking about creating unique content to inspire the world? First, I'd like to bring to the stage a man who really began his career in a traditional advertising space, but through some experimenting on Instagram, started getting popping. And since then, he's been working mostly as a photographer and an art director, has that artistic eye, some might say, and he's worked with loads of global brands since throughout his career, and some of them include HP, Callaway Golf, Whole Foods, Continental Tires, Instagram, HSBC, PayPal, so on and so forth, KFC, blah, 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 and most recently just did a massive campaign for Apple. I'd love to bring to the stage Mr. Stephen McMenemy. McMenemy.
I don't know why I have my sunglasses on.
Yeah. All right. Take a seat wherever, just not here. And that's for my girl JQJ. That's for my girl JQJ. Yes. And I'd love to invite a wonderful couple who I just met and had a chance to only glance at their work the other day. Very, very talented, beautiful married couple. They are Israeli comic artists and creators of one of the most popular web comics in the world called One of Those Days. And what it really entails is they talk about their relationship in a humorous fashion that they don't spare any details. So, you know, if you want to know in depth what goes on in their life, definitely read that. But they talk about the embarrassing, they talk about the funny, they write about the sad, the happy, and even crisis-filled moments in their life and make it very entertaining. They're both artists. They do all the original work themselves. And first and foremost, I'd like to bring up Mr. Yehuda Devere. Yehuda Devere, according to his wife, Maya, is such a hardworking man that he makes the ants look lazy. So let's put our hands together for the Mr. Hardworking Yehuda. Bring it up. Yehuda, bring it in here. And his beautiful and lovely wife and partner in crime, who, according to her hubby's theory, is a goddess in a form of a woman who spreads joy. Now, sprinkle the joy, sprinkle the joy, sprinkle the joy, sprinkle the joy. Thank you for coming. Okay, the moderator for this panel, oh, the lovely JQJ. Don't let that wonderful smile fool you, because she is sharper than a tack, ladies and gentlemen. She is not only insanely smart, intelligent, and has a wonderful, open heart, but she's so humble, has an unmatched amount of humility, and she's just a wonderful person through and through. She'll not only split your heart open, but with that sharp as a tack-like self, she will pierce thine heart. So JQJ, hold on, I'm gonna call you up in 1 second. She is the founder and CEO of Digital Voices. She's a YouTube specialist, an influencer marketing agency in London. She builds powerful YouTube campaigns, and she's worked with many brands, including Rolls-Royce, the Royal Air Force, Universal Music Group, Trainline, so on and so forth. She kicks butt all the time. She's been featured in Forbes and all the other big everything. She's young. She's also Harvard educated, speaks a bunch of languages, Arabic, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't end. I don't know where to stop, but I'd love to bring to the stage Miss Jennifer Quigley-Jones, JQJ, the moderator.
Oh, thanks. Welcome back.
Slow minds. Bring it in. Please, take it away.
Right. This is utterly brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for your time. And Errol, that's the nicest intro I've ever had. I think what we've got that's really special on this panel is a lot of people who are genuinely very creative on Instagram. And I think you shake up people's perceptions of what social media is by being so artistic. So I think the obvious question to start with is, what inspires you to create your content?
Sure. Check. You can hear me.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, the world, honestly, is what inspires me, because it's endless, the amount of inspiration that's out there. So, as we were discussing earlier, for me to get out of my comfort zone, getting out of the bubble that I live in, when I travel, obviously, I'm exposed to so much new stuff, visual information that just allows my brain to think a little bit differently and look at things differently. So generally, I would say travel is a big inspirational component for me.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
check. For us, I guess, most of the things, if you got to see it a little bit, most of the art that we make is based on our true life. So, like on our true stories. So most of it will be at home, actually, because we're working the entire day. So most of our scenes is happening actual, like in our living room or our bedroom, or I don't know. But yeah, our daughter today, like she's 5 months old, so now we're creating content about her and us. So it's very close to home, I guess you can say.
Do you find it difficult to be that intimate and open on social media? I mean, you all focus your families sometimes. I think yours is in a way that is very, very personal, especially like difficulty conceiving, stuff like that is very personal. Do you ever feel like there's too far? Do you feel it's difficult to be that honest with people?
So I think we did it gradually. What I mean, like when we start, we just picked moments that we look at it, like it doesn't have to be funny, but we look at it in a funny way.
Yeah.
And after it got to decide that it is today, we decided, like among us, that like it's boring for us just to talk about the funny stuff. Like we're real people. We have true problems. We have real life. So we need to talk about other stuff as well. And I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. Like everyone have the same problem. Everyone have the same moments, like the sad moments, the embarrassing moments. So why won't we just talk about it all together and like
Communicate.
Yeah, communicate together. Like everyone understand it. That's why I think that's why it's so speak to people, because we are like everyone else.
And I think
Yeah.
that's something brands can't do, right? Brands really
Yeah, well,
struggle.
I was going to say, I think vulnerability is huge, and I think that's a good trend in social right now, is people being very real about their lives or their issues or struggles. And I think it just ultimately helps other people, and you realize once you do that, other people share those same type of commonalities and experiences. And I prefer to show people not the negatives, but I guess it's more the reality. You know, if we take a vacation, my kids are not behaved all the time, and so I don't want to pretend that my kids are angels. They're not. They're terrible. Like everybody else's kids are terrible, right? I hope. Mine are, anyway. So I like to share that, you know. But
Ours is funny at the moment.
Well, yeah,
She's too
I have a
small.
13-year-old.
She's too young
so.
to be terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
Five
yeah.
months.
Right. But I think for brands to be vulnerable too is really, really important. That doesn't mean show your stumbles and your weaknesses necessarily, but it's just to be relatable, and I think that's what people really like, is to be able to relate to whatever
Yeah.
it is you're putting out there.
Yeah.
But you chose to go from your account was in your name, and then you changed it to come both.
Yeah,
names, right?
it started as a personal account, and I didn't intend to become whatever it is I am now. I don't know if I'm an influencer, a creator. Instagram has become my business. But yeah, I didn't set out to do that, but once it became and it gained traction and there was media and press about it, I realized, okay, well, I want to create a handle that people can easily find. I think that's important too. But, you know, I was saying earlier that people got very upset when I changed my handle. I don't know why, but people, you know, they get very attached to what it is you're doing, and so you have to be careful too about how you manage
Yeah,
some
every
of those
change
changes.
needs to be very, very
Yeah.
careful, like very, very
Yes.
slowly. That
Minor changes, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Think about what it is you're doing.
Yeah, like for example, we changed our logo.
Yeah.
One time, like after a year and a half, we already had a book published and everything, and then we need to change our logo because it was just we needed to do like the first one really, really quick, so it will be ready for conventions that we went, and then we said, okay, that it's too regular. We need to
Yeah.
make it a little
More
bit more
unique.
us, yeah,
Yeah.
more our logo. So we changed it, and then we just I don't know, it kind of went well.
It
Like,
does.
yeah,
Well, it's
kind of
worked
went
now.
smoothly. Yeah.
Were your audience shocked, or did they comment on it quite a lot when you changed it?
I don't think so.
Not that
They
much.
took it good.
No.
They took
Yeah,
it like a champ.
it was just better logo, so I guess
My-
they just accepted it.
It's just
well.
like that. Aren't
Yeah.
I have a lot of very grumpy followers. I guess.
No,
On it.
also we, just so you know, like since we gave birth to our daughter, she's 5
Yeah.
months old. So a lot of followers trying to tell us like every illustration we publish. So a lot of followers trying to tell us how to be a better parent, or what to do. Like for example, I put it like in her.
A carrier.
Yeah, a carrier. So they say, no, you need to lift it higher. You know, it's a drawing,
did,
right?
they did,
Like the,
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's part of as well being vulnerable. Because you've been so
Yeah.
open, they feel like they can just be critical and access you. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're artists, but really we're people
Yeah.
too. We have feelings.
exactly.
How do you separate what content goes on which platform? Because you have, I mean, like over 7 million followers across all
yeah.
the different platforms, like
Yeah.
YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram accounts. How do you decide what goes where?
I think the core is Instagram because that's where we started. Unpurposely, by the way. We didn't expect it to be that way, but it became very, very big. And then we did what the audience basically asked. We actually two people factory, so it's
Yeah.
kind of a problem to manage that many social media. But then we try to be efficient. Like for example, if we do illustration, that we're trying to film it while we're doing it, and then
Yeah.
we can publish it also on YouTube. So it's like we're doing a couple of things together. So it's
The
kind
same
of
content, but we
Yeah.
publish it in a different way.
so they can see, the behind the stage and everything.
And I want to do more of. I wish I could do more of that. I wish I could. People ask a lot about the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the making, the creating. When it's just you and you're chasing kids, and you have a wife, and you have a family. You know, it's just you have a life beyond that.
Yeah.
It becomes, you guys know, it's a lot of work, and it's very time consuming. So, anybody wants to help me? I'm here.
Looking from a
We can give you advice
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
For
it's
example,
dinner
we
tonight,
don't
we'll
sleep. Try not to sleep.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask, so the hardest part of this, is it the time management? Because I think that's why you talk about vulnerability, authenticity, and then also the struggles of like managing your own time, having to basically be a brand while you didn't want to be a brand. What's the hardest part of being a creator?
I'll say, for me, it's you get in your head. It's a very toxic conversation you can have with yourself sometimes. For me, where I second guess myself, I think there's something incredibly valuable about creative instincts and listening to that over any other voices that are out there. The most recent thing I posted, I wish they could show some of the stuff we do, but is that possible?
They did at the beginning.
Oh, they did? Okay.
But yeah.
But so the thing I did most recently, I did it just as quickly as possible. It was very last minute. I have a routine, and when I post, it's kind of scheduled for me. And I just said, "Oh, this is terrible. It's no good." The response was unbelievable, and I find myself in that situation all the time where I think it's not going to be good, and I just have to put myself out there. I have to continue listening to what's deeper in here than what's out there, and that's where the success comes from, I think.
Yeah.
With you guys too,
I mean, I like to. What's helping to stay creativity is just look at the world, the reality in a funny kind of way. So, because I know everybody else just look at the reality in the same way everybody look about it. They get upset very fast. They get angry very fast. And I was like trying to take the time with it. Try to laugh about the situation. Even if it's in like a bad situation. For example, all of our illustrations, you look at it and you laugh about it. But if you can focus on it, you can realize the moment, it's not a good moment. It's very hurtful moment. I mean,
That was an awful day.
We just look at it in a funny way, I guess. So I think now what's the most difficult thing maybe you can correct me, but like for me, for example, the most difficult part now is just the combination between work and family.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. Like, as I said, we're not sleeping that much, and if you think that it's come easily, we're just putting like stuff on Instagram, so no. Big no. It's like a hard work, very hard work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, especially because the creative process for all of you, the creative process must be very intense, so you have to spend hours working on something. How do you manage that time process? How do you guys manage two artists working on one piece?
Well, we're working on a shift.
Yeah,
you know?
kind of shift.
A day shift and a night shift.
Yeah.
I feel like your brains are fusing.
We need to have a few hours a day working together. So we kind of do it all three together with our little daughter crying in the background some of the day. But no, like Yuda taking the kind of morning shift when he doing the illustration after we thought about it together. And at night I'm doing the rest. So like I'm with our daughter the entire day, and then at night when she go to sleep we switch, and I'm starting working on the real job, not the child job.
You weren't joking when you said it's like a factory.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a factory, and creating content, it's the most important thing. This is what we do. We're creating good content. So it's a lot of work. It's not just taking a beautiful photo for Instagram. I wish it was that easy, but it's just not. No, it's a lot of work.
I wish I could just take pictures of food, and that was my
yeah,
job.
exactly.
But
You all made it so hard for yourselves.
Oh no, this is like it sounds bad, but like we having fun doing it. That's why we do it, because we enjoy it. Like if you ask me if I prefer to do anything else, that it's more easy, less hours, and you can get more sleep, be more with your daughter. No, this is what we like to do. It's like another, like one of those days comics is another son that we have. Like we have two kids. We have one of those days, and we have Ariel.
And think about it in this way. Imagine you received like thousands of mails from people all over the world telling you changed their life with your work. Now you cannot stop once you know that you did something good in the world, in life. So this was also giving you the motivation to keep forward and keep doing it also and also and also. So even though it's not going to gain millions of likes, but there's one guy that did the like, it
Yeah.
it changes perspective, it makes him laugh. That's it, you won. You won, you did something. So this is...
And I would say that's my objective in what I do, is to bring just a little bit of joy into people's lives. And I feel like that's actually the job of brands too. Like that's what works for consumers, and not to make this a whole advertising thing, but I mean, a brand will win if someone likes you just a little bit more than they should have originally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just,
It's that trust and loyalty.
yeah, it's just be likable, be approachable.
Yeah, true.
And that comes, I think, from being slightly vulnerable sometimes.
I think we have a very good example of it when we go to other conventions to meet the crowd, the fans, the followers, like in person. We don't mind that we have like the time of the convention just ended, because we will stay until the last minute, last minute to meet everyone, because this is the most important thing. Like you want to leave a good experience. You want to like they came especially for you. They want to meet you, your creation, making them happy. So I will do my best and beyond to just make them happy, because like they're like me. That's why they like our work.
How do you guys see, okay, two big questions. So, what advice would you give to aspiring creators, firstly? I'll start with you, Stephen.
Well, I've been hired by Instagram to go and speak to agencies to inspire them and talk to them about how you can best use Instagram. But I package it in a way for creatives, in that there's this place where you can be creative and no one's going to really tell you it's bad. A client's not going to kill it, right? And so I really push people to just put themselves out there and to try stuff. And it really just doesn't matter in the end. I can't imagine what judgment from others could be so crippling that it would end your life right there. It's just not that dramatic.
True.
So if you have a creative instinct or itch, desire, it's a wonderful platform. All the platforms are great, just to put yourself out there and to try new things.
Don't be scared.
What's that?
Don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared. Which, I mean, that's my own, I have to give myself that advice all the time. I get scared, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know what. It's just...
Your work's so whimsical.
It is, but then you put these weird pressures on yourself. And I have empathy for brands, too. If a brand, and I've done that. I've worked on campaigns that had this amazing success, and clients get in their heads about it in the same way I would get in my head about it and say, how do we keep this going? How do you keep that momentum up? And what I've started to do is just to take that pressure off. Everything just happens over time. Like I don't know what the race is. There isn't a race to do these things. And so I'm just trying to slow things down a little bit and enjoy the process as much as I can.
Yeah, true.
That's great. What would your advice to aspiring influencers be, Maya Nahuda?
Me?
Yeah.
I feel I speak a lot, so yeah.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
I think my advice would be just don't stress about it. Don't think that much. Just do. Just do something. Doesn't matter if it works or not. You don't need to think in terms of, does it work? No, just do what you feel, and eventually it will work. It's like that's how we learned we didn't know how to build a brand, I guess. So it just happened. It just happened. Every week we published a new illustration, another one, and then people learned Yuda and Maya. They learned who we are. They learned our personality during like all those illustrations together. So don't think if that specific thing will work. Just do it, and eventually something will happen from it. So
My advice is very simple. Don't count on your plan B when you're trying to do something, because the moment you will count on your plan B, you won't give 100% on your plan A. So your plan A won't succeed in 100%, because if you just walk and you try to build something, when you know that when you fall, you have a safety net, you don't go all in. But if you know that you're gonna fall and something serious will happen to you, you'll be very, very careful, and you're gonna do your moves and your steps in a very smart way, and you go all in because you have something to lose. And when you succeed, don't ever underestimate the underdogs, because even if you're on top, always remember as you're like the second guy, because the underdog have nothing to lose. So always they keep forward, they keep creating and keep thinking and exploring. And if you get to the point when you get stressed, when you lying around and relax because you're not doing the work that make you stress about, you're in a good way.
Yeah, true, true.
I would also add, I've made it into a game that helps me. Like, and when I talk on behalf of Instagram, that's what I say to agencies, is it is a game. I've gamified my Instagram account. The game is, how do you generate likes? Because that's, and I've said this to you guys before, that's not important to me, it's important to brands. I understand the value of people liking the work. But the engagement too. How do you foster engagement? That's very, very important for when it is on behalf of a brand or something like that. You want a conversation, right, about the work, whether it's specifically about, it doesn't have to be about the brand, it's just that engaging with other people.
Yeah.
And so what do you do to do that, right? What can I do to stop people in their tracks? That's the game for me. It's thumb stopping, right? How do you get people to stop doing this? Boom.
I mean, this is a very British example, but apparently the average person in the UK scrolls the length of 12 double-decker buses a day.
That is very British.
Really? I wonder who measured that.
I know,
How?
can you imagine?
Yeah.
But like,
But that's the
anything
game.
you can do to stop the scroll. On Instagram, it's
Yeah.
like, how do you make people pay enough attention that they'll stop? On YouTube, it's like, how do you make them search through your
Yeah.
through
I
the
think
thousands of videos, like millions of videos, and think yours is the one they want to dedicate their
Yeah.
time to.
our content just built that way. Like it didn't start that way, but it became like in time. For example, as you said, when you scroll, we make in comics. Usually, in the past, comics was like on timeline, like a few. How do you
Strips.
say? Yes, strips. So you need to read and you need to look in a few photos to understand the point at the end. So our illustration is one frame. Like we call it the art of one frame. We created something like art of one frame. So all of our content is in one frame, which means you don't have to kind of work that hard.
Yeah.
You just have to look at one photo, like one illustration, and get the point.
Well,
And
you
it's-
have to work that hard.
Oh yeah, we really do
But
because
it has to be effortless for them.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like we work really hard for you to understand it like that. Like people think that it's really easy, but it's not. For you to get it in 1 second, we need to think about all the scenarios. For example, if we have like worldwide audience, we need it to be like, if we use words, it need to be all the words need to be understandable. And if we can use like no words at all, it will be better because then you don't have a language to deal with. And if you do like a composition, it needs to be like we telling you exactly what you want, what we want you to look at first. If like it's the main
Idea.
subject, and then the secondary joke to make it like a little bit lighter, and we telling you exactly where we want you to look.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I was just going to say, my work confuses people intentionally.
And that stops.
It does. They don't know what they're looking at. They don't know what they're seeing sometimes. It's, my technique is I take two things, I put them together. Sometimes it's a little more blended, and when that's the case, that's what I get in the comments. I had to study this for a while. I'm not sure what this was. I got it, now I love it. That kind of thing. So there's a reward in that. Sorry.
We have to wrap it up, but the big question I want to ask, I'm going to get you to say it in one word. What do you think the future of the influencer marketing industry is in one word? I can go first if you want.
Oh wait, let me think about it. I have it in Hebrew though. Wait, let me translate it in my head.
Future of the industry.
Risk.
Risk.
Yeah.
Taking
Risk.
Risk.
She said one word.
Oh, sorry.
Risk.
I'll say future. I think it is the future of the advertising industry.
Yeah. Cool.
People, no offense,
People hate ads.
people hate ads. People don't want to listen to brands. They want to listen to people they can relate to.
I would say power.
Yeah.
Power, but in a good way, like positive power. But you can't say it in one word, so I say PP.
Power.
As a
Growth.
positive-
Thank you
Yeah.
everyone so much. It's been a
Thank
joy
you
to
very
talk to you
much.
guys.
Oh, thank you. Stay right there real quick. Stay right there.
Oh, no. Okay.
Where's this guy? I want to take this quick
Hold
little
on,
pic
let's-
with
You
my
jumping
pic.
in?
Should we all do this?
Where do
Oh,
we
yeah.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on,
there?
he's going to take a picture of us.
Alright.
Yeah. Woo!
There you go.
Live your power, guys. Thank you for the awesome panel. Really appreciate it.
What's that?
Give it up.
Yeah.
JQJ, Steven.
Want to join our selfie?
Yeah. Anyone want to shoot us? Real quick?
No, do you want to get in the selfie?
Fine.
Sorry, everyone.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
thank you for the wonderful panel. That's a lot of actionable advice. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I would love to actually talk one-on-one with you guys later to learn more. Thank you for expanding our minds. We have a quick little video from Turkish Airlines. Check out the global destinations. And then after, we're going to have a quick coffee break, re-energize, take a fresh breather, tell a couple funny stories, and we'll be back. Let's do it. Coffee break. I'll see you out there. Don't forget to catch some of those beautiful rays that are outside. Connect to the elements. People ask me, hey, Errol, where do you get some of your energy from? One of my friends just asked me just now. It's very simple. As our boy Einstein said, E equals MC squared, which means energy equals mass/matter. You switch it around, matter and mass also are energy. That means all is energy. Just connect to that energy and absorb that energy. So go out there, connect to the wonderful elements, and energize.